So who are you going to call when the pipe bursts? Had a problem with audio a couple of weeks ago. So we're back here. And of course, the first person you're going to call is your insurance agent. And then he's going to call his insurance adjuster. So I'm here with Kevin again, and we're going to talk a little bit about what does an insurance adjuster do? Because if it should ever happen, like it happened to a client of mine, and you wouldn't believe all the mess that's in his house right now, it's important to know what the next step is going to be. So I'm going to turn you around. Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
We're in a different venue, and that's good. And Kevin, so how long have you been an insurance adjuster?
A little over a year now.
Okay, so
I'm new to it.
So he's new, but he's learned a lot. And you know why? Because we had weather over this past winter. And what happens with weather? You have rain, you have roof leaks. So what happens with the roof leaks? Who are we going to call first?
You want to call your agent is your best bet.
Okay, so you call your agent, and what does the agent do? He then calls his team member, his insurance adjuster. And what does the insurance adjuster do?
The agent will put together your claim. It'll be online so that you can interact with it. But some folks don't have email. Some folks are a little older and not on computers, so you can work in person and through hard copies. But yes, your agent will then call someone like me, an adjuster, to come out and investigate the claim. So we'll look at what happened, what damages occurred. We'll take some measurements of the rooms that were affected. We'll take some photographs. We'll sketch it up so that we've got the areas of damage so that we can determine the cause of the loss. We can determine if there's coverage based on your policy. And then we will put together an estimate of the costs to not only mitigate what occurred, dry it out, remove any of the damaged materials, but then replace all those materials. The labor to do so. If it's an extensive damage, you might need to move out. There's coverage for hotels and food and things like that if it gets to that point. But yeah, all of that needs to be figured out, calculated, tallied up, and paid to the insured.
So do you have a schedule of fees that you work off of that you say, okay, I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the pipe that burst in this room, and sadly to say it's a slab, so we're going to have to break up the slab in order to get in, and of course whatever flooring is there, we have to get rid of the flooring. But do you have a schedule of fees that you usually work off of as far as that goes?
Yes, we use contractor software that's updated monthly, and it's updated at the zip code level, and it's down to very detailed line items of remove tile from bathroom floor, replace tile to bathroom floor, replace bullnose tile, replace laminate flooring, or any of the hundreds of different kinds of flooring, or roof shingles, or there are thousands and thousands of these line items down to very detailed, down to the penny of materials, labor, overhead and profit if a general contractor is required, if there's multiple trades involved. Very complex, but it's a third-party software that we purchased from a company out of Utah that a lot of the big insurance companies use. A lot of ServPro and ServiceMaster, a lot of contractors all use the same software, so we're all speaking the same language, using the same pricing, and able to reconcile our estimates quicker that way.
Well, that's really interesting, because you kind of wonder, well, how'd you get up to that? How come I was expecting this amount of money back and you're not giving me this amount? Or I don't like the contractor. Can I go choose another contractor?
It makes the conversation much more objective. Yes, some contractors will come back with a sheet of paper that says, I will fix your kitchen and it will be $10,000. That's pretty vague. So we like to have very specific line items so that we can spell out exactly what each item will cost.
Wow. And then, of course, there's the times that I've talked to people and they go, my insurance company did nothing. They wouldn't pay me for this drip, or whatever was done created another problem and they wouldn't fix that. So that's, it's the cost of insurance. I believe on my home, I have a condo policy. I believe I'm thinking $1,000 deductible on it, or maybe $500. I don't really remember. I didn't look.
Your agent knows.
Yeah, my agent knows. Well, it's in my computer. But here's the question, like, what did we do before computers, before this was all updated? Did you have to go to the contractors and get an idea from them, or you went to Home Depot, or you went to Lowe's, or you went to any of the locals, or?
Well, yeah, immediately before the internet and all of these online applications, there were publications, as a number of industries had. Think phone books.
Right.
Back
Okay.
in the day, you could look stuff up. So
Wow.
you could look stuff up. It didn't get updated as quickly, and it wasn't quite as accurate and timely, but it was the best we had at the time. Yeah, so the internet has made things a lot quicker and easier to access these updates.
So in the last year, where have you seen more problems because of a roof, plumbing, some broken glass, tree falling? We've had lots of trees fall down in the last year. So where do you see? Do you have a percentage of so many trees, so many roofs, so many?
Well, here in Southern California, we don't get a lot of damaging weather. So we had some interesting rains back in January, February, March, and so we did have a lot of roof leaks or window leaks because the rain was coming sideways from directions it doesn't normally come from, and folks were finding deficiencies and cracks in things that they didn't realize were there, and nothing had ever tested those before. So that was interesting. But as far as the work that I typically see, probably 3/4 of the claims that I see are failed pipes. Whether drain lines or pressurized supply lines, it's failed pipes, and so that's steady throughout the year. But in the spring, there are roof leaks. And a lot of times, because we're a national company, when the spring storms come, there's a lot of hail in Colorado, and they get overwhelmed, or wildfires up north, they get overwhelmed. And so we help out with those, and we can work remotely to help our colleagues in different areas, because when those big events happen, the big wildfires, the big hailstorms, hurricanes, they'll send waves of claims to us to help absorb that workload.
Well, that's really interesting, because I never thought about you're taking care of people outside of California. I know here in Southern California, it's very rare that you'll see much weather changes, and of course we're blessed that we don't have the wildfires down here. It's very unusual. You might have a couple of sparkles up on the hill or something. So now let me ask you this, and this is an opinion, you may not have an answer. So what's going to happen to all the houses in Portuguese Bend with their gas cut off?
That's a tough one. That's really tough, because that ground continues to move. And so it's tough to insure, because it's tough to put a price tag on what might happen. It's tough to predict and build a chart around the probability of loss in those areas. So that's going to be a work in progress for a while.
Yeah, I know. I kind of feel bad for those people. I've been there, but I haven't sold any property there, so I don't have any clients in the Bend area, Portuguese Bend area. But wow, it's a challenge. It's a major life change for them. So we wish them well. Hi, David. Thanks for watching. Gosh, there was one more question I was going to ask, but it'll come to me. Let me turn this back around. I'm going to remind everybody that if you're here locally, the Torrance Rose Float Association is doing a Restaurant for Roses fundraiser today for a 2025 float, and it's going to be right here in South Torrance at Hoff's Hut. So if you're into comforts food, this is where you need to go. So go to the website, torrancerosefloat.org, check where it says calendar, and pull down the calendar, and it'll show you you'll get a link to the flyer. So bring the flyer with you. And the other thing that's happening, as you know, I'm involved in the Torrance Theater Company, and this weekend is opening weekend for the next 3 weekends for The Little Mermaid. And if you've ever seen any of the shows over at the Armstrong by the Torrance Theater Company, you know they're highly professional. We have the greatest actors. Our musical numbers are wonderful, and waiting till you see how we're going to show Under the Sea. So get your tickets right now. Go to torrancetheatercompany.com, or just go to the Armstrong Theater and you can get your tickets there. Anyway, it's a Wild Wednesday, and there's Kevin working. And thank you, Kevin. I'm hoping that this time it worked. If you have any questions, I can connect you with Kevin. He'll be able to answer questions on insurance adjusting, or if you want to talk to him about the insurance company he works for, I didn't want to name it. And I'm wishing you a wonderful Wild Wednesday, and we'll talk next week. Bye.